Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Tonight on Our News, preparations underway for the advance poll of the upcoming election. Americans warned do not travel to the Bahamas. Plus, the FDA grants the Pfizer vaccine full approval. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, Acting Parliamentary Commissioner Lovato Duncanson announcing today that the advance poll for the 2021 general election will be held on September 9th. 10 times more people will be eligible to vote in the advance poll. Today, Duncanson pledged that the department will do all it can to avoid the drama and confusion experienced in 2017. Jasmine Brown reports.
For this advance poll, which is scheduled to be held on September the 9th, 2021, we have estimated that approximately some 30,000 applicants are eligible to apply to vote during the advance poll.
Acting Parliamentary Commissioner Lovato Duncanson explained just how many people are eligible to vote in the upcoming advance polls. The 30,000 plus people who are eligible to vote is a far cry from the 3,000 people Minister of National Security Marvin Dames has said took part in the advanced poll in 2017. Due to an amendment to the Parliamentary Elections Act, people over 65 are now eligible to vote early.
The 30,000 plus applicants include a new category of voters, persons 65 years and over. Such persons comprise of some 26,000 eligible voters. However, out of that 26,000, it is estimated that on the islands of Grand Bahama and New Providence, approximately 20,000 individuals will apply or can possibly apply for the advance poll.
During the 2017 advance poll, many people were forced to wait up to 5 hours to vote, and others were prevented from voting because their names were not on the register. Voting only took place at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs National Gym. Duncanson announced that voting centers on several islands, the U.S., U.K., and a few Caribbean countries will be operational for the advanced polls in order to avoid a repeat of 2017. He says 9 voting locations will be open on New Providence and 4 on Grand Bahama.
On the island of New Providence, the H.O. Nash Junior High School has been identified as an advanced poll voting location. H.O. Nash is scheduled to accommodate voting for constituents in the Fort Charlotte constituency, Garden Hills, C.I. Walker High School, Doris Johnson High School, C.I. Gibson High School, the Government High School, Sadie Curtis Primary School, Gavin Times Primary School, C.V. Bethel High School, Anatole Rogers High School, and Gambia Primary.
Officials at the department are also encouraging those who are eligible to vote in the advance polls to apply online. As of Monday evening, there were 194,547 people on the voter register. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, the U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for U.S. citizens advising do not travel to the Bahamas. The advisory, citing the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, indicates a high level of COVID-19 in the country. The Bahamas was pushed to Level 3 back in June. However, with triple-digit cases confirmed daily, the department says it has no greater responsibility than the safety and security of U.S. citizens overseas. The advisory says the risk of contracting COVID-19 and developing severe symptoms may be lower if fully vaccinated. The department also encourages U.S. citizens to exercise extreme caution in some areas of the Bahamas due to crime. Well, as health officials confirmed 8 more COVID-19 deaths over the weekend, the Prime Minister made yet another plea last night for Bahamians to get vaccinated, warning time is running out. Kyle Joaquin reports.
The numbers say it all. When it comes to COVID-19, August has proven to be the worst month so far this year, with many in hospital and unfortunately, many dying.
The virus has many of our citizens fighting for their lives. It has killed more Bahamians in this wave.
With 8 COVID-related deaths confirmed over the weekend and more than 25 recorded just last week, the third wave of COVID-19 cases in the Bahamas proving to be the deadliest yet, prompting the Prime Minister to make yet another plea for Bahamians to get vaccinated.
You do not have time to keep thinking about whether or not you will take the vaccine. You do not have time to keep researching. You need to come forward now to get the life-saving protection that vaccination gives.
This third wave has shown no sign of letting up, with cases now hitting double digits on islands that went months with no confirmed cases. Islands like Long Island and Exuma confirming 10 cases each, Eleuthera confirming 23, Grand Bahama 24, Abaco 32, and New Providence 317, all over this past weekend alone.
Vaccines prevent hospitalizations. They prevent deaths. And that by us taking the vaccines in large numbers, we can go back to more openness.
The United States Food and Drug Administration has put its stamp of approval on the Pfizer vaccine, which began distribution in the Bahamas last week and saw Bahamians show up by the hundreds to receive their first dose. Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson now 3 COVID-19 vaccine options in country. With both major hospitals at capacity and Doctors Hospital having to decide who gets a ventilator, MINUS looking to calm fears over an oxygen supply, with thousands of gallons sent to Grand Bahama and New Providence.
Additional supplies are already in the delivery pipeline to restore normal supplies. Next week, and each week thereafter, 12,000 gallons of liquid oxygen are expected to arrive in country, providing the supply needed.
And as the country battles this third wave, officials are also preparing for a general election on September 16th. Election season usually means campaigning, political events, and long lines at the polls.
That the emergency orders limit the number of people campaigning in groups to 5, all of whom must be fully vaccinated.
Now again, the situation is dire, with COVID-positive patients here at PMH having to stay and be treated under tents. The Prime Minister once again urging that one way to try and avoid this is to get vaccinated. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
And the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine receiving full FDA approval today. Some Bahamians say they now feel more confident about getting the vaccine, which was rolled out in the Bahamas last week. Bethany McDermott has more.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine its stamp of approval for people ages 16 and older. The COVID-19 vaccine will be marketed as Comirnaty. FDA Commissioner Janet Woodcock said, while millions have already safely received the vaccine, the FDA approval may instill additional confidence in others to get people vaccinated. It was the position shared by these Bahamians.
I know that it may not save me but it can take me from going to the hospital, and if it's symptoms like just the flu-like symptoms, I could be able to handle it at home.
It does. It does add another layer for myself. Franklin, does that make you feel more comfortable?
Yes, it does.
The Pfizer vaccine received emergency use authorization in December 2020 and is the only vaccine approved for children 12 through 15. Here at home, 3 facilities are using the vaccine to inoculate Bahamians. F&M candidate for St. Anne's, Adrian White, is fully vaccinated and brought his 15-year-old son to get the jab.
As a parent in the household, we always have a responsibility to those that are dependent upon us. And even though my son is a capable young man, he's still a young man in my house. He's under the age of 18, and I have to make the right decisions for him. And I think that this is definitely the right decision, not only for him, but for other families to consider as well.
I guess I feel more comfortable now knowing that I have a lesser chance of actually getting or catching COVID-19.
2 weeks ago, the Bahamas received 128,700 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, which is part of a 397,000 dose donation from the U.S. government. August is on track to see the most COVID-19 cases since the start of the pandemic. These residents say they're not just getting vaccinated to protect themselves, but their loved ones as well.
Some church members died during the pandemic. It wasn't so good. And so you have to be mindful, you know. If you could take the measles shots and all that, you could take the Pfizer vaccine.
And I did it because I know that the seriousness of the COVID-19 virus, and I did not only want to protect others, but I want to protect myself.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
In other news, unions representing teachers and other educators say they support the Ministry of Education's decision to start the new school year with a virtual learning format. However, they say the ministry should have given more notice. Jillian Gray reports.
Our administrators have expressed that they are definitely not ready in all aspects.
It may be a bumpy start to the new school year, according to Bahamas Educators Managerial Union Secretary General Zane Lightbourne, who says they're concerned that thousands of students who were never on the virtual platform will be left in the cold again.
We haven't filled a lot of spots where persons have left the system through retirement or resignation. And this is definitely a bit late in the game to tell us that we're going fully electronic.
Over on Grand Bahama, Bahamas Educators, Counselors and Allied Workers Union Area Vice President Martha Edgecombe says they understand the need to go virtual. However, educators will encounter many challenges.
I really do not believe that we were fully prepared for a fully virtual school year.
Most teachers prefer face-to-face contact and are not prepared for virtual, according to Edgecombe. From those who have not tested the system to those who aren't familiar with technology, Edgecombe says educators should have had advance notice instead of finding out when the public did.
We could have gotten new programs or new avenues to go about teaching virtual school, but only having to read this, I think on Friday it was disseminated. So now it gives us a shortened period of time to prepare fully.
Then there are concerns over devices and internet.
Even if there are issues with the portal, teachers have always found a way to get the information and to teach their students. The ministry don't encourage it, but they have resorted to Zoom and Google Classroom, Facebook, and so forth, because the idea is if it isn't working or up to snuff, then they're going to find ways to teach their students.
LaRota says the one good thing that will come out of virtual learning is that now they'll finally have a system that can be used in the event of natural disasters. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
A breezy start to the work week. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks. Welcome everybody for your first look at weather on this Monday morning. Hazy outside our studios. We'll call it warm. Temperatures in the mid 80s, 85 outside our studios right now. Southeast wind at 7 knots and your feels like temperature with that haze out there, it's in the mid to upper 80s. 89 is the actual feels like temperature. Satellite view, a lot of high level moisture moving in, courtesy of the trailing moisture from Henri, which is well to the north and dissipating across the eastern United States. And that's going to filter some sunshine for the rest of the evening, but we do have a stiff easterly flow, so we could see 1 or 2 smaller showers later on tonight. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, tighter restrictions for cruise passengers, plus a man appears in court on a murder charge. The details after this.
The Great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar describing tighter restrictions for cruise ship visitors as a cautiously wise move. Starting next month, passengers over the age of 12 must be vaccinated. Jasmine Brown reports.
The tourism minister says the decision to require beefed up vaccination requirements for cruise ship passengers was not an easy one. However, he says it was a necessary one.
If you have an outbreak on the ship, that's bad for cruise tourism. And the Bahamas is very reliant on cruise tourism. Just go down to Bay Street and remember what happened when there were no cruise ships there. So we want to do everything in our power to protect that industry, and we thought it was a wise and cautious move to insist that all passengers getting on the cruise ship should be fully vaccinated.
During his national address on Sunday night, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis reminded the country that cruise ships heading to the Bahamas won't be allowed into local ports, including private islands, if there are any unvaccinated passengers on board, except those younger than 12 or those with a medical excuse. The move was announced in an emergency order issued last week Thursday. Minnis says the rule will take effect September 3rd and extend through November 1st. As for how the cruise liners reacted to the changes,
the cruise ships perfectly understand. We would have consulted with all of them to find out what their reaction would have been. Some were not terribly supportive, but by and large, the majority of them perfectly understood. And it's good for business.
The tweaked entry requirement comes as the Bahamas continues to record sky-high COVID-19 cases. In fact, more COVID-19 cases have already been confirmed in August than in any other month this year. More than 2,400 cases were recorded so far this month. D'Aguilar says the government wants to do everything in its power to protect the cruise industry, as one outbreak can cost not only the Bahamas but also the industry.
We think it's good for health and it's good for business. As you would have known, the Prime Minister has often mentioned how we're trying to navigate this COVID crisis by striking the right balance. And we feel that this, in this particular instance, was good for cruise tourism. I would say even before we made this requirement, in excess of 90% of cruise passengers were already vaccinated. So it's a small move for the cruise industry to meet our new entry requirements.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
From the courts, a 24-year-old man appeared before Chief Magistrate Joy-Ann Ferguson Pratt today in connection with a recent murder. Tariko Boleg is accused of killing Biswajit Patti on August 12th. The Jones Heights resident was not required to enter a plea and bail was denied. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until December 3rd.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news returns, political parties falling short on female candidates, plus $6 million allocated for Census 2022. Stay with us.
The Great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow our TV originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch our news Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to our TV originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
This is our news. Welcome back. Major political parties have fallen short of their pledges to include more women in governance and leadership, according to the Bahamas chapter of the Caribbean Institute of Women in Leadership. Chairperson Charlene Paul tells our news that the small number of female candidates is concerning on both a national and international level.
I think it is a lack of understanding of the need for women to be properly represented. I think that's really what the bottom line is, because obviously we do not have a lack of competent, qualified women to be able to lead.
The Bahamas has signed on to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, one of which is to ensure women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision-making in political, economic, and public life. Women make up just 7 out of 39 candidates ratified by the PLP and FNM. 18 of the Coalition of Independence candidates are women.
Leaders lead, make it happen. We have sufficient women to be able to properly and fully represent women. We are 50% of the population, 51 probably. And 55% of the electorate. So let's not make excuses. Let's just make it happen.
Well, Census 2022 will begin in January using a digital format, according to government officials. $6 million has been allocated to facilitate the digital transformation. Chief Census Officer Kim Saunders expects to reach at least 119,000 households, representing a 10% increase from the 2010 census.
For the online census, there will be a questionnaire that individuals can complete from the comfort of their homes, any time of the day and at their leisure. Via telephone, census enumerators will administer the questionnaire over the phone. Finally, the traditional in-person interviews will also be conducted.
Pre-census listers are currently on the road, according to Saunders, who urges residents to cooperate by filling out the forms provided. She says this will allow residents to choose how they want to participate in the exercise.
The census includes all residents of the Bahamas, all persons who live here, who call this country their home. So that's our definition. Usual residents, those who have spent 6 months or more in the Bahamas or intend to spend 6 months or more in the Bahamas.
Still to come, a Bahamian to present at a major international forum. The details after this.
The Great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow our TV originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch our news Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to our TV originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
Welcome back to our news. Another hot week ahead. Greg is back in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. We have some high-level moisture associated with what was once Henri. Henri is spinning up there across the eastern United States, very far northeastern. That moisture hanging out across the northwest Bahamas in the form of some mid to upper level clouds. Upper level low spinning to the east of that, and that will continue to funnel that moisture across the area, so we could see a couple isolated showers. Watching the tropics, we have a couple of tropical waves, one moving just to the west of the Les Antilles, another one in the central Atlantic, and a second stronger one coming off of Africa, the Nash hurricane center, giving all of those about a 40% chance for some formation over the next 5 days. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. We expect those winds to be out of the east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots. Caution flag posted for you guys. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean, while in the central and southeastern islands, stronger winds. They're out of the northeast to east, 15 to 25 knots. Rough seas 5 to 8. Advisory posted. Your high tide will be at 9:30 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Saturday. Breezy and hazy conditions expected for us for the next couple of days. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Executive Director of the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, Davinia Bain, is set to speak at the first ever Women's Economic Forum Caribbean this week. WEF Caribbean will be held in Puerto Rico and is expected to attract thousands of people from around the world.
The Women's Economic Forum is huge to us. You have about 250,000 attendees, over 200 countries involved. So you can imagine the knowledge share between all of these various experiences from women entrepreneurs. So we're excited to be able to give our take on our experiences here in the Bahamas through the Access Accelerator and to be able to hear from other persons at the same time.
Bain says the forum will promote economic inclusivity throughout the Caribbean. She's scheduled to present on Wednesday.
looking forward to participating in this initiative specifically to encourage female investors to become very organized in the way they approach investing in any type of business, whether it's a female business or a male business. But obviously the topic of the day is for the investment in women entrepreneurs.
Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.